I want to be clear in letting you know that the parents do support ILA English as well as raising our test scores. What we don't support is excessive study halls for some students, but not all students. The CMT test is one test on one day during the academic year, and unfortunately it seems to be driving our curriculum. I think if you continue to limit the classes that our children are exposed to and allow our 7th and 8th graders to languish in 4 to 5 study halls a week, you are denying them the opportunity to learn. And maybe the opportunity of finding something that they might be good at and would engage them, and that can help bring test scores up. Other students in the building do receive more academic seat time than our children do, and that is really an inequity. Our children need higher test scores, but they also need to get the same academic opportunities that other students in the building are getting. If there is enough time in the academic week for 4 to 5 study halls, then I don't understand why there isn't enough time to have more than a 2-day-a-week foreign language, a tech ed class, or anything else that is going to engage our children to make them active learners. It's not going to happen in a study hall. I think one of the keys to success in raising our test scores is reaching every learner, and that's not always going to happen in a language arts setting. It can happen in a foreign language. It can happen in a tech ed class. So I think a lot of us parents want to insist that you do away with these excessive study halls and give our children more academic learning time. I didn't really get the impression from I caught the tail end of the last meeting that was sort of on the forefront. So
actually, I had
maybe
the team leader here for the last 2 board meetings who was in charge of foreign language here at the high school, and no public had come to respond to that. I know Mr. Prado has been in correspondence with Mr. DeStefnis in central office. We have not been able to find a foreign language teacher, and my department head at the high school really feels that 2 days a week of a foreign language at this particular time would be like throwing money out the window. They really thinks that if we're going to put a foreign language program back in the middle school, it needs to be a viable program, and it has to be more than just for a couple of days a week. I'd be glad to have him come to another meeting to explain some of this information. He is actively looking also for the possibility of a foreign language teacher, and we just have not been able to find one. As far as the other electives, it's not a new model that I invented here in East Haven. The state of Connecticut has suggested a middle school model that has changed from the way we have done business in the past. And one of the emphases they have put on it is the double language arts period. And it's a new program. This is the first year that it's running full strength 7th and 8th grade. Last year was just 7th grade, and this year we incorporated the 8th grade. We are currently, we did the core curriculum areas last year, and this year we are looking at all the electives and ancillary programs to hopefully rebuild a model middle school for the upcoming school year. Mr. Prado and I, and Mr. Margarella, Mr. Mioli, we have communicated with Mrs. Salvo and with Mr. Prado, and I guess, Mr. Prado, what's the story about the study halls? We have people having 5 study halls a week?
Most students have a maximum of 4. There isn't anyone on the schedule that has 5.
well, we have parents that have said otherwise.
There are times when students have 5. For example, yesterday you're having PE teachers, both rows. You cannot run a physical education class without certified PE teachers in the gym. Those students, unfortunately, had another study hall all day long with the substitutes that were there. If I have one PE teacher out and have Mr. Kasafi, they're able to work together. But with both out, it can create 5. The study halls were created as a result of instituting the double language arts period. We also use those periods to pull chorus, 175 students, band, I think your daughter is a member of the band.
But she doesn't get art.
Right.
So that's a wash.
I have just so many people, man. You know, I have one art teacher. Years ago, we had,
My daughter has just so many years to be a middle school student.
I understand, I'm not
If a class is, what, 40 minutes long?
46.
46 minutes, so that's 4 times 4. How many hours less education is my child getting than the kids in the north? Then give our children the language teacher that the north students have, and let's see what their parents say. This isn't right. You're not going to convince me, and you're going to come up with a million people that are going to be...
The people that, there's not a lot of
It's not
people that are unhappy with the schedule of the middle school. There is a handful. I asked
There's
Mr.
more than a
Prado,
handful.
I asked Mr. Prado to accommodate those people and ask those parents if they wanted to go into the north group. There's room in the north group. Parents refuse.
I was
And, you
never
know,
asked.
if I was looking at that, okay, I think if we're really going to challenge them, that might not be a bad way to go. Because not all students in all middle schools get foreign language.
Well,
It's
the middle
based on,
schools that I called,
it's
the area
based on their
towns
reading
do.
abilities.
West Haven does, North Haven does, North
I
Branford
pulled
does.
the entire state.
Okay,
And
well,
as many
I'm not trying to get
answers
in an
as...
argument with you. You're
Well,
gonna
it
come up
sounds
with
like you
people,
are.
no, I'm not. I'm getting angry because it sounds like nothing's gonna happen.
I
at
can't
least
make
for this
some-
year.
I can't make something happen in the middle of the year. First of all, it's a shortage area.
Well, what about tech ed? You can't put tech ed, you need
Tech
to
ed's
tell
a
me that.
shortage area also.
Okay. Well, the language position was also empty last year and you knew about it, and I guess nothing was done about it. So this isn't new
It
news.
wasn't an issue last year. The issue has come up this year.
What?
Parents didn't know about it.
So it
Well-
seems to be an issue in seventh grade this year.
It's an issue, I'm not even gonna say it's a language issue, it's a study hall issue. 4 to 5 study halls per week is not acceptable. If there are children in that building who are not getting 4 to 5 study halls per week, then my child should not be getting 4 to 5 studies, well, she has 4, should not be getting 4 study halls per week. End of story. Whether it's a language, whether it's a tech ed, whether you put her in an art class, whether you give her a third language arts
It's
class.
not unusual. I mean, when
No,
you
it
come
is
to the high
unusual.
school,
I
you're
will
gonna
come
have
up with enough
you're gonna have
studies.
study periods in high school.
My daughter, who is a senior in the high school, didn't have study halls when she was in middle school. She had study halls half of her freshman year, didn't have them sophomore year, didn't have them junior year. She has them now as a senior because she's earned them. It's not something you get in middle school. It's ridiculous. I've never heard of 4 study halls per week in 7th grade. It's ridiculous. And I don't think you're going to,
Well, I'm continuing to look into it, but I don't know. if
Well,
I'm
that's
gonna
what
be
we're
able-
here.
I don't know if I'll be able to solve it this year.
okay, well, I don't know. I think we're going to definitely look at, the parents are, a lot of people couldn't come today because it's the holiday season, but enough of us are angry enough that we're willing to go to a next step. Maybe see if we can get some kind of legal advice from a law school that does pro bono work or something. I don't know, but this sounds so wrong. It's just wrong.
I don't think you're going to find it as so wrong because other middle schools offer their students that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, my sister is a certified English teacher and a reading specialist. She's been a teacher for 32 years. She's been a teacher at a middle school for 27 years. She has emailed me more information on this subject than I can share with all of the board members. And I
wish you would share it
I
with
will.
me and not at a board meeting. Would you ever think of making an appointment with me to share that information and not come here? This board can't help you. I can help you.
okay, well, I thought this was a Board of Education matter. I mean, I'm not really
Well,
up to date
I
on
think it would be
all of
more
the
of a matter for
procedures.
you, Mr. Prado, and I to sit down and talk about it with the interested parents.
Okay, we can bring them. I would like to
think
do
that
that.
would be a lot more helpful and progressive than bringing it here.
Okay, well, the only reason I feel like I'm getting a little testy is because I don't feel like you're kind of skating around the whole thing and you're continuing to look into it.
I don't think you even know the effort that I put into it.
No, I'm not saying you haven't put any effort into it, but this isn't a satisfactory answer for parents. That you just have to accept 4 study halls a week. That's not a satisfactory answer. There's gotta be something else.
And we'll sit down.
It's not satisfactory to you, but not everyone's gonna be happy. I
You know,
mean,
I have two
there are some
administrators
things
from
that
the middle
can't be
school
done.
sitting here. If I knew this was coming, I would have had the guidance people here to explain.
I talked to
They
guidance
do,
today.
they do the scheduling, okay? If this was an issue, it should have been brought to my attention, not in the middle of the school year, but before the school year started. It was
We've
not.
been here
brought-
3
it
times.
was- Yeah, but the school year has started. I don't mean from you, I mean from my administrators. It didn't happen because they didn't see it as a problem. I don't schedule it at the schools. The guidance people schedule it, and the principals administer the school. So if there's
All
an
right, well,
issue,
then I guess
then I
we should
think
set a
we need
meeting
to
up
sit
with
down
you.
with them,
That's
and
the
I'd
way
be
to go.
glad to invite the guidance people here also. Because
Okay,
those are
I
the
actually
people,
will have
those
my
are the people
sister
that
come.
should have the answers.
All right,